So I mentioned it before in earlier shows, and I'm going to state it here again. This is the platinum age of boxing. It's the platinum age of boxing in Canada and worldwide. Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio, and I'm going to be talking about the heavyweight division today, the current state of the heavyweight division. So as it pertains worldwide, I know I haven't, there's been a little bit of gap in videos, been extremely busy, and there's going to be a couple gaps leading up to May 27th because I'm going to be putting my energy into the next issue of Below the Belt Boxing Magazine, as well as the upcoming boxing trade show and expo on Saturday, May the 27th. Don't forget to get your tickets. The induction ceremony is sold out. However, we still have the trade show during the day from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we still have the exciting fights in the evening. So every year we've always had great fights. Of course, the matchmaker is Brody Boone, the best in the business at what he does in terms of putting exciting matches together. So he's back again. We're working together, and I don't think that this fight card is going to be any different. $20 either in advance or at the door. But once we sell out, we sell out, and basically that's how it is. So get your tickets early. Doesn't matter if you don't know the people on the fight card. The overall entertainment is going to be great. We got music by DJ Ryan, again, who's always there every year, part of the team. There's going to be prizes that can be won. It's going to be a great night, and that ends off the expo in terms of the fights in the evening time. But you can come to the trade show, see memorabilia, see the different booths that are there, meet a lot of professional fighters. Three Lions Promotions, one of the emerging big time promoters in Canada, will be there with their fighters. They have a couple champions. You got to meet these guys and get to know them outside of the ring, and they've got a big show coming up on June the 3rd. So the current heavyweight division, or the current status of the heavyweight division, that's what we're here to talk about. And April 29th, there was a huge shift in the landscape where Anthony Joshua took on Vladimir Klitschko, and Vladimir Klitschko coming off the loss of Tyson Fury, but it was a decision loss. He was very motivated for this fight. It was a dangerous fight for Anthony Joshua. And we'll just run down a couple of the statistical things in terms of, who they are as fighters. Anthony Joshua has only got leading up to the fight, he only had 18 professional fights, but he was 18-0 with 18 knockouts. He had stopped everybody that he had faced, and he was just starting to raise his competition. Anthony Joshua is 27 years old. He's fought 5 undefeated fighters on his journey up to becoming champion, and even avenged an amateur loss against Dylan White, who was undefeated at the time when they fought. So Anthony Joshua is one of those guys that he takes on challenges. He doesn't shy away from them. Takes them on early. Hasn't been boxing that long. I think his first amateur bout was at the age of 18 years old. And, he showed, he won Olympic gold medal for Great Britain. I believe it was at the 2012 Olympics. So he's showing his pedigree, that has the potential to be a great fighter. Vladimir Klitschko, he's 41 years old right now. He has a record of, at the time, 64-3 with 53 knockouts. So he's got a lot of experience, had a decade title reign, and aside from that, even before getting into boxing, he had a short career in kickboxing as well. So lots of fight experience, tons of fight experience. Plus his brother, Vitaly, was also a great fighter. And, you know, they trained together. They had a lot of great coaches, including the late, great Emmanuel Stewart. And, you know, he brought a lot to the table in terms of experience. A lot of people found or thought that Vladimir Klitschko might be too much for Anthony Joshua at this stage of his career. So it was a gamble, and it paid off huge for Anthony Joshua. He proved that he is among the elite heavyweights. That fight was confirmation of that. And now he is the WBA super champion. He's the IBF champion and the IBO heavyweight champion. So he's got 3 titles there. In the rest of the heavyweight division, in my opinion, the next 4 underneath him, they're all undefeated, and any one of them would make great matchups. There's Tyson Fury, who at 28 years old is 25-0 with 18 knockouts, never been beaten yet. That would be another great fight that I think would probably sell out the O2 Arena in the UK. There's Deontay Wilder, who at 31 years old is 38-0 with 37 knockouts. So he's knocked out all of his opponents except Bermane Stiverne when he picked up the WBC title. One thing I like about Deontay Wilder, you may question his opposition, but he's been consistent and he's been busy. And I think those are 2 things that make a great fighter. With Julio Cesar Chavez, he didn't fight all champions. Through the majority of his records, you know, probably 70%, you wouldn't know the names or recognize them anywhere. But he was an active fighter. He was an active champion. And to me, that's one of those marks of not just a good fighter, but a great fighter. So Deontay Wilder is definitely up there. His opposition, again, is growing, is getting better. That would be another super fight between him and Anthony Joshua. People in the UK know who Deontay Wilder is. Deontay Wilder is a big name in the United States as well. But he's not a superstar yet anywhere. But in the UK, I think it would be a much bigger fight because right now, the UK fans, I would say, are the most educated when it comes to especially heavyweight fighters. So the sport is huge in the United Kingdom, especially when it comes to heavyweights. There is 38-year-old Luis Ortiz. So a lot of people are saying this guy is a little bit older. He's 27-0 with 23 knockouts. He's a very versatile fighter. In his last couple of fights, he hasn't looked as impressive, but that happens when you're stepping up in competition. Sometimes you see less knockouts. Sometimes you see, outings that don't look as impressive. The main thing is he's got the O, because when you're fighting better people, they're craftier. Their mindset is about winning, or sometimes it might be about surviving, but they know how to do it because they have also gone up against better opponents as well. So, that happens when you rise in competition. You're not always going to look stellar, and sometimes you might look vulnerable. But Luis Ortiz is definitely a dangerous heavyweight who comes in shape, can throw combinations. He's got a lot of boxing skill outside of the power. And then there's Joseph Parker, who is the baby of the Young Lions coming up. Joseph Parker is 22-0, 18 knockouts. He is the current WBO champion. And again, he's just 25 years old, so lots of room to grow. He has a lot of time on his side where he can still develop. The only knock on Joseph Parker, I would say, is that, despite his impressive knockout record, I don't think he has the type of power of an Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder, but he shows that he can continue winning, and he shows that he's got enough power to stop opponents in stopping 18 out of the 22 opponents that he's faced. And then in the rest of the heavyweight division, it's still a dangerous area. You've got David Haye, who lost to Tony Bellew. David Haye is only 28-3, former unified cruiserweight champion, former heavyweight champion. He's fought the biggest men in the division. He's got a lot of power. He's going to be a dangerous guy. Tony Bellew, he beat David Haye recently. Tony Bellew's 29-2-1 with 19 knockouts. Tony Bellew may or may not be a factor. He's got enough skill and power that he can hang with the big fighters. The 2 losses on Tony Bellew's record were to Nathan Cleverly very early in his career, and then his last loss was to Adonis Stevenson, who is a heavy puncher. And you know, Tony Bellew, when he stepped up and fought David Haye, showed that he could take those heavyweight punches and from a big puncher in David Haye, who stopped heavyweights, even though David Haye has also moved up. How does Tony Bellew match up against a Luis Ortiz, Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, that he give up a height and weight advantage to? That I don't know. He might find some success with guys like Joseph Parker, who is maybe a little bit shorter, but stout tank. He's definitely in the mix and somebody to be contended with, especially after his showing against David Haye. And then you have some of the old lions of the division, like Shannon Briggs, who is 60-6 with 1 draw, 53 knockouts. Again, Shannon Briggs has been around for a long time. He's 45 years old, but in phenomenal shape. He's mixed it up with the best in the division for, a good part of 2 decades. And he's hungry. He's motivated right now. You see him all over the place. He's willing to fight. He fought on the David Haye undercard thinking he was going to get a David Haye match right after that. It didn't occur, but he is going to be facing Fresno Kendo on June 3rd of this year, 2017, for the regular WBA World Heavyweight Championship. Fresno Kendo 37-8. And in my quick prediction for that fight, I would lean more towards Shannon Briggs. Shannon Briggs, who's been active, carries power, still dangerous, former heavyweight champion, knows what it takes to be there, and facing off against Fresno Kendo. You got other guys in the division that are still dangerous as well. Alex Povotkin, 31-1. He's had some issues with testing in the past. We'll see if he gets through that. And Kubrat Pulev, who's 25-1, lesser known. There's a lot of dangerous guys in the heavyweight division. Again, the Platinum Age of Boxing. For heavyweight boxing, we're on the verge, maybe in another year and a half, of having a unified champion, or at least 2 or 3 super fights, which is just as exciting. So that's my heavyweight wrap-up of the division and what it looks like. Heavyweight boxing is back. There's no doubt about it. It's exciting. It's just as exciting as every other division. Lots of potential there. And, I think that we're going to be up in for some great fights. So, if you have the opportunity to get over to the UK for one of these fights, it would be well worth it. That's, again, my wrap-up. If you have any questions related to boxing, remember, you can send us any message. Remember, you can ask us any questions related to boxing by sending us a message through Twitter at DOKPOSIO or through email, okposio@hotmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube to get every episode of the DO Boxing Show. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one.